Hello, boys and girls. Do the Dutch here with some more. Well, Mr. Pandoria stuff. Mostly another dungeon. Next up, we're decided to look at is the Stormstout Brewery. As you can see, it's a bit of a storyline with Chen Stormstout actually trying to discover what the hell kind of crap is going on in his own brewery. It turns out to be quite interesting. So I just picked up a few quests, and now we're getting started. So the first thing you just gotta do is apparently, as you can see in about almost the bottom, you see it is like kind of meter with 0 to 40, which means you need to kill 40 Hosen in order to draw out the first boss. So that's basically what we're doing. The mobs, again, mobs are as simple as you can find them. They've got nothing special. They don't do anything special. They're just mobs. Deal with it. So you're looking at mobs or mobs. So this is a little bit later. As you can notice, I've got still that stupid club for a mace. So what does the Stormstout Brewery really entail? Well, it's basically you need to figure out what's going on. It's got 3 bosses in total. A Hosen, a Vermin, and a let's just say it's quite an interesting boss. So again, these Hosen, they just do a little knockback. Really, they don't do anything special. So what does our team comprise of? Well, we got me as the Paladin tank. We've got a Shaman healer. We've got a Retribution Paladin, a Demonology, a Warlock. I just actually noticed he's a Demonology Warlock. No, not a Demonology. Destruction Warlock. Bingo, there we go. And we have another Hunter with us. So it's almost exactly the same composition that I had before in the Temple of the Jade Serpent, only this time the races are a bit different, and the only difference, of course, is the healer, which is a shaman instead of a priest. There we go. My brain was kind of bugging out again. That sometimes happens. So I'm just picking up a few items for a quest. It's really not difficult. You just need to find these. You just gotta pick up 5 of those books. How did I miss that one? I guess I got that. So basically, I think partially our team is just being dicks, and they're a little bit impatient. I don't understand exactly why they want to run through it. As far as I know, if you're just doing a normal instance run, it's not a challenge, so it's not in challenge mode. So I don't understand exactly the point of trying to run through it as quickly as possible, but we'll go with it. Excuse me for the little burp there. So we move up, so we get to this huge room with all these Hosen. Luckily, none of them are elites. So first we pick up this book, and now we're gonna piss off some monkeys. I do like the fact that some of the monkeys are wearing pimp hats. Oh, come on, they're pimp hats. It's purple. It's a pimp hat. So as you can notice, there are sometimes a few barrels showing up which explode, and I'm actually still not sure what these barrels do. Either they do damage to me, or better said to the team, or just to enemies, or to both. I'm not exactly sure of this. So we just pulled a whole lot of them, which is fine, by the way, because we can easily handle it. They do almost barely to any damage, barely not to no damage at all, which actually made no sense when I said. So apparently we crashed a party. I just saw one of them with one of those can helmets on. So the first one we're facing off against is Ook Ook, which is this big Hosen. So he wants to go Ookus in the Duker. I don't even know what it is. I don't think I want to know. So while we're doing this, he's got only 2 ability uses during this engagement. He's got Ground Pound and Going Bananas. Here we have Ground Pound, which is actually... Well, here comes the... I just missed that one. So let's get to the Going Bananas thing first. So Going Bananas just basically, as it says, more barrels are incoming. So you just got to keep them moving. I don't exactly still know how these barrels work, whether they do damage to you or just to him, or to both. So he's got another ability called Ground Pound, which when he finishes, he shoots 3 of basically the shock waves in front of him. They're like 45 degree angle, which hits everybody in that conal areas, which does damage and stuns you. So, most important thing as a tank, keep him pointing away from the group. Do not have him pointing towards it. Luckily, I do not do that because after that one, I discovered, hey, he stuns me with that, and I can actually dodge it because there's a small cast time involved. So apparently, he's gonna ook all night. Again, I don't know what exactly the description of ook is for these monkeys. It's not very important. The fact is, he just keeps doing ground pound and just increases, and just goes partying all night. Which actually are going bananas, which just increases the amount of barrels that just comes in, which I am still not sure what these barrels do. So that's basically the encounter. Again, it's a normal, so don't expect. I will, of course, make ones of heroic versions of this, but don't expect too much of it. So we're apparently now the new Ook, and they're gonna dance for us. So I got a new sword out of that little fight. I don't know if it's necessarily a tank item. It works though. If you ask me, it's got mastery and hit, so it works for me. So next up is the vermin part of the fight, which is fighting vermins. Unfortunately, I thought these were just mobs we needed to kill. Yeah, little mistake I made there. I really thought they were just mobs I needed to fight, but apparently this is like a sort of. It's not even a gauntlet because you can just easily run through it. I mean, this is normal. I'm the tank. I mean, everybody gets through this without much of a scratch. Some take a bit of damage, but it's barely any. It's very easy. Unfortunately, I didn't show this up. I didn't read the text in the bottom left of the screen, so I didn't notice that they said, "Get the fuck over here. They're just gonna keep coming." So that's basically what I kept doing here. So I kind of pissed off the well, the guy who just died, which is the well, that's basically, as far as I know, our warlock. Yeah, pretty much. So I really didn't know that they were just gonna keep coming as long as you kept coming. So as long as you keep fighting them. So you just need to get to the end of it where you're gonna face off against a boss. So the vermin with the mallets on their back basically explode. It doesn't do that much damage in the normal mode. I'm guessing it's going to be a near insta-kill ability, or at least a heavy damage ability on the heroic version of it. So as you can see, the path is blocked by a giant carrot. So we face off against more vermin, and well, we just need to mop up these guys. It's really not difficult, as you can see. Barely taking any damage. I'm barely getting any healing, by the way. Well, sometimes. So here's the next boss. So his name is, I can't even, Hoptalis, basically. And he only does like 2 abilities, just like the previous boss. He's got what is he about to perform? It's Whirlwind, which is a channeled old whirlwind. Just stay out of it. This is actually, even on this level, even on the normal mode, does quite the damage. I mean, the healer got decimated. It got torn to pieces. Luckily, it was a shaman, so it's got the reincarnation thing. So now it basically does the Atramedes things, which is causing a conal, which he just moves around and doing a fire breath. Well, he calls it carrot breath, but it's basically a fire breath. So I thought stay out of it just in case, but apparently the rest of the team was like, there's no damage at all. So they dodged it. I wasn't aware of this. So in the meantime, during this engagement, you're going to fight a lot of mobs. Some of these mobs, though, which are the boppers, I think, drop this mallet. I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to do with these mallets. I was just tanking the boss. I was just keeping his attention on me, tanking all the damage. So, even if that whirlwind barely does any damage to me, I decided to stay out of it just in case because, well, it's a whirlwind. It actually has quite a challenging time, which you can see it come as a casting time. So you can basically see it coming. So I thought it was a good idea to stay out of it. He did kill the healer, but come on, it's a healer. What can you expect? It maybe it's a shaman, but it's still a healer. So this is the part where it's not a very difficult fight. It doesn't have many mechanics. To be honest, the last boss has just one that's quite interesting. That's this like kind of like a gimmick, I'd say. So our DPS paladin is just like, screw this. I'm just gonna have to. Actually, what is that? So apparently our DPS to just let that Guardian of Ancient Kings do all the crap. I didn't even use my one because I just didn't see any point to it. So the mobs will just keep coming, and every time that the boss does a screech, it doesn't do anything life-threatening. I'd say it's kind of an easy engagement. It's just you got to keep your eyes open. Just stay out of the whirlwind, which is a whirlwind, and stay out of the carrot breath. So it's a very easy encounter. It doesn't take a lot of. It's basically it has a lot of tells. I mean, when it does the carrot breath, that needs channeling. You can easily see it coming. Same thing with the whirlwind. It's channeled, but it's also it needs a casting step, so you can see it coming. So in comes in this little, well, not little, this vermin who just brings along this cart that just grabs the carrot and gets the fuck out of here with a giant carrot. So I got another tanking item, which is this nice pair of bracers, which I was happy with. Probably some of these, the team didn't never really say it directly to me, but they were probably not very happy with me. Hey, what can you expect? I never game. So next up, you're gonna face up against this type of enemy design, which is a elemental or ailmental. I don't know how you want to pronounce it. Pick for yourself. But so it's not an elemental; it's an ailmental. It's an elemental that is formed out of, well, ale, out of beer, booze, whatever you want to call it. So what do? Well, what you basically do is beat the snot out of it. Some of them do a sort of certain ability, which you're about to see. That one just did something that caused that random party member starts spraying apparently dangerous beer over you. I guess having too much beer is dangerous. So these smaller ones, these bubbling brew elementals, just constantly cast a rule bolt and summon a bubble shield. Although I'm still not entirely certain what these bubble shields do. It's non-interruptible, so you just gotta break them quick. I don't know exactly what they do. Just I know that the mobs themselves also don't present much of a threat. I just don't understand why this place is so big while there is just 4 mobs all over the place. I gotta admit that this one has more of a humor side to it. It's got kind of a comical relief to the whole thing. It's nice though. It's got a nice design to it. You constantly go inside and outside, so I got nothing bad to say about this instance. It was an interesting game, and especially considering what you need to go through to get to the last as the boss, which to be honest was just a bit of an annoying thing, but you just gotta lift him. So next up are these fizzy brew ailmentals, which first of all cast an ability, which basically casts an ability called Carbonize, which places this beer field on the ground, which basically makes you puke. It literally makes you puke beer or something. I don't know exactly if that's the case, but that's what it looks like. You puke. You just start spraying puke beer juice all over the place. It's horrible to look at, if you think about it. So, what do you do during this whole fight? It's just that. I mean, just check. Here it comes. And so here's the. I decided to actually move into the stuff. I don't even know why I did that. I was just not paying attention to it, to be honest. But it was easy. I mean, it wasn't that much difficult. The carbonation thing wasn't that difficult. So, this is like a bit of wave-based encounters. You just get these elementals that are going to show up, and you just gotta, well, burn them down to get to the next wave until the boss shows up. So, first you get these that we saw before, the bloated brew elementals. Just, to be honest, don't do anything. So, he's cast these brew balls. I still don't. So, apparently they spray themselves. So, they place this field around them, which gives them a certain effect. I'm still not entirely sure because, to be honest, during these engagements, I'm not going to mouse over their benefits to see what they do. I just keep an eye out. I learn best, actually, if it's really dangerous, I learn best by getting torn apart by them. So, as far as I discovered, it doesn't do anything negative to me, so I didn't see much of a problem with it. I just didn't know what exactly it did. So that's the first wave down. We get some more voice acting. So here comes the next, which is a whole lot of these bubbling brew elementals. Though, to be honest, these things are easy because considering what they do, they just don't pose as much as a threat as you'd think. So, you don't necessarily even have to quickly burn them down. Just make sure that the tank gets most of the attention, because, or else it could happen that these elementals might be starting focusing on a single target, and they might just do too much damage for the healer to handle. It's just best to keep the attention on the tank, or at least the majority of these things on the tank, because the tank can take the most damage. So, basically, it just keeps going on like this. It doesn't do anything particularly difficult. So, after she just gave one more wave, I'll let you figure out what type of elemental you didn't have to fight. So, I gotta admit that these elementals did do some interesting stuff. The mechanics, though, it's not really that big, but at least they put an effort into it, and I'll give them that. So, just getting some shit. I didn't even notice we were still having one of them still out there to kill. So, there we go, it's down. So apparently peppers are the answer, which causes that fizzy brew elemental show up, which I didn't need to kill. Luckily, I've got a holy rav, which has a glyph in it, which stuns them. So I'm pretty much in the clear here. So I just smack them about a bit. It's really not that difficult, this fight. It's quite easy considering. So basically, they do the Brule Bull thing, the carbonization thing. It's not particularly difficult. So we just need to burn them down. I was not paying entire attention. Didn't focus that one of them wasn't actually, didn't give shit about, gave zero fucks about me. Just decided to go focus on the others. So pulled the taunt on him, which I actually barely ever use, considering, which I really should. Besides the point, it's just smacking these things about. Just stay out of the carbonation field, and you're pretty much in the clear. So, I don't know if the carbonization field is at random targets or specific targets. I'd say it's pretty much random. What I don't get, though, is what's up with this fucking paladin. I mean, I think this paladin might actually be a holy who accidentally decided to come in here as a damage dealer. Which means that the second healer we got him with this is actually dealing damage. Though I don't think so, considering it's using Retribution, because I see a whole Divine Storm showing up. So here comes the first. So here's the last boss of the instance, which is Yanzu the Uncast, which basically does. It has the free effects from the beer thing, which I still don't know what it does. So basically, it starts with Tank and Spank. It summons these bubble shields, which I still have no clue what they do. They just do something, apparently. They should. So, then it's got a small mini phase involved. It is not this, though. That's just bloat again. So, here it comes. It's carbonation. So, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So, I just sticked around, and all of a sudden, I didn't understand. I couldn't cast spells. I wasn't doing any attacks anymore. I was stuck. I couldn't do anything. I was taking constant damage. It was puking all over the place. I thought, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. I was just like, fuck it, actually. This Sacred Shield is actually absorbing most of the damage when it got triggered, so I just completely ignored. So, on normal, that should be an instant death mechanic on Heroic. I demand that to be an instant death, because you can see it coming, and, well, in the next part, you'll see what you need to do in order to stay out of that carbonization field. Though, it's really easy, to be honest. You can. There's just no way you can actually ignore it or, well, overlook it. It's really easy. It just doesn't. So, we summoned this bubble shield again. Again, nothing special. Everybody just focus on. I gave the attention of the tank on me. So here comes the second carbonation field, and then I figured that perhaps these bubbles are meant to do something, which it does, which allows you to fly, which keeps you out of that goddamn carbonation field, which causes you that you can do shit. Though, of course, these things only have a 20-second duration, so you need to keep clicking on them. So I'm guessing you're gonna have to. I think maybe because there's only a limited amount. I'd say is it that you would have to prioritize who should get them and should hold on to them. So, this is pretty much the entire encounter. We get a little bit. So this one. So now we're getting a little bit of voice acting. After we just killed it. I do like this Uncle Gao, his attitude. He's like, I don't give a shit. You're a beer. You're a brewmaster. Oh, so this isn't the first time it was set on fire. So that's basically the entire encounter. It's just, it's a very interesting, it's a nice little dungeon with a bit more of a comical relief involved in it. So out of the quest, I get some new gear, some new shit, which I was happy with. I got a new set of gloves and a new cloak to go with it, which looks very nice, to be honest. You're about to see it any second now. Trying to find it in my backpack, which was full of crap. There we go. Had to show it off, of course. I like the detail of the thing. So that's basically the whole thing of Stormstout Brewery. So, well, my name is Do It the Dutch, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this run through of this instance. Goodbye, and good luck to you all. Bye.